Why people give up once they start getting good. The Dunning-Kruger effect is defined as a cognitive bias that occurs when people overestimate their abilities in an area where they lack knowledge or skill. For example, when you start learning something new, you believe you're really good at it. You believe you have learned it all within the first day, and it motivates you to learn more. You overestimate your knowledge and gain a load of confidence, and it motivates you to get better, and you already feel like, hey, I have this under control. I'm already a pro. The problem is, however, that once you start to learn more, most people realize that they didn't know it all and are actually still very much a beginner at what they were learning. Now, normally when people overestimate their skills, they aren't just some egotistical airheads that believe they are the best at everything. Normally, it is people who just don't know there's more to know. This happens a lot when people are learning some sort of skill or idea without a teacher or coach or even someone just to talk to beside them. If it is just you alone learning something, you have no way to know or base whether you're good at it or even doing it correctly. You just don't have that knowledge. It is something I have done in my life so many times. I pick up some sort of hobby to learn it, and I don't go and take a class or learn alongside someone else. And I get to a point where I feel like I have nothing else to learn. I got to that point when playing guitar. I learned the chords and the basic way to play, maybe a scale or two, and I really thought, oh, well, this is easy. I already know everything I need to know. I don't have to learn anything else. But as soon as I stopped playing by just myself, and I got and I took lessons and I played with others, I realized there was so much I just didn't know. I realized that I had missed so many little aspects of playing, so many little intricacies I just never noticed before. Imagine you're on a hike to the peak of Mount Accomplishment, and you were told this was going to be a very difficult and long hike. You start along it, and basically in no time, you see what you think is the peak and think, oh, that was so easy. Well, what was everyone else talking about? When you get there, you're ecstatic and take a small lunch break. You sit down on the rocks and overlook the way you came and are quite proud of what you accomplished, wondering why other people deem this hike so difficult. I mean, you made it in just an hour when people said it would take multiple days. As you sit and eat, you see people get to where you are, and they don't stop there like you and admire the view, but they just keep moving along a trail you hadn't even noticed before, a trail that was just out of the way with very little marking, a little slice of dirt through the forest. You stop them and ask them where they're going, and they turn and point to a far away mountain on the horizon, poking through the clouds, and say, "The peak?" You realize where you were wasn't the peak. It was just a hill, a crest, a small accomplishment within the hike of learning something new. A lot of people will decide to stay at that first crest for a very long while, not wanting to go down into the valley where they know eventually they will have to climb back up the sheer mountainside to see another beautiful view. Some people make it to the second peak and decide that's enough for them, and those which do make it to the top normally don't give themselves enough credit for it. They don't realize no one else made it. They believe everyone knew the path to get there, even though most people didn't even see the second trail. Many people have almost this sort of graveyard of hobbies they have, but don't do much anymore. You might have that guitar hanging on your wall, but don't really play anymore, or some art supplies tucked away in a closet. You may even have won some art contests as a kid, or learned some pretty awesome songs on your guitar, but just decided you didn't want to learn anymore. There are many reasons for this. Three examples, which I will only briefly look at here, are cognitive dissonance, behavioral inertia, and the theory of reasoned action. Broken down and combined in one thing says all of these says that changing our daily lives are difficult, even if we believe we want to change it. We have set schedules and daily checkpoints that we like to hit, and really jumping into a dream might interrupt those. Along with this, people around us, society, and even ourselves might tell us we shouldn't do these things for whatever reason. Whatever it might be, this happens to people all the time. But what also happens is people get out of this rut as well. The best way to get out of this cycle is change what you enjoy about the process of learning. A saying which you've heard a million times, but is still really wonderful is it's not about the destination, but about the journey. If you only enjoy the outcomes and the view at the top of the mountain, then out of the whole hike, there's only one spot where you truly felt joy. Don't be like the first hiker I talked about. Learn there is more trail to blaze and appreciate that. Appreciate the fact that there is more of this thing you are learning, and hopefully this thing that you love learning. If you enjoy only the part when you quote unquote know the skill, then you will never truly be happy doing it. Even the people who are the best in the world at something still feel like they're learning more about it every day and that they don't even know the skill. If you instead get joy out of the learning of it, then you will never be demotivated when you come to find out you know a lot less than you realized, but instead will be ecstatic that there is more to learn. You will learn to appreciate not just the fact there is more trail, but also more aha moments and more beautiful overlooks of your progress and more to simply learn. Because there is always more to learn. Some of the best minds like Albert Einstein and Socrates and even Steve Jobs all believe this to be true, and they are some of the most respected minds in their fields. Learning is what life is all about. When you were born, you knew genuinely nothing about the world. Yet, throughout your life, you've learned and learned and learned and not stopped learning. That is what kids do. They learn, they're curious, they're little investigators of life, connecting all the dots on their mental bulletin boards. Yet, as we get older, we naturally start to go into a routine that starts making us believe we know everything, makes us believe we have connected all the dots. Instead of trying new things, we stay in our ways. We have set schedules and set lives, and it isn't that we believe we know everything about everything, but that we do know everything about that one life, the life of routine we have created for ourselves. We made it so that we would know it. We unconsciously design our lives for less learning, for less uncertainty. That is where the Dunning-Kruger effect starts to work its magic. Or I guess dark magic. We take what we know, our routine-filled lives, and mirror the knowledge we have on that onto everything else. We think we do know everything about one thing, so we must about everything else. But that is never the case. It's a vicious cycle, but it happens to everyone at some point or another. It's happened to me more than once. We stop learning, we stop living, we stop questioning. We believe we know it all since we know a little bit. Quote, you should not be afraid of someone who has a library and reads many books. You should fear someone who has only one book, and he considers it sacred, but has never read it. That is a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche, and it explains everything said here in a nice and neat package. If you believe you know it all, then you stop questioning. When you stop learning or reading, as Nietzsche said, you get satisfied since you believe you know everything. And with that satisfaction comes a pride and an ego. You know it all, and that idea blocks us from learning anything new. It is what the Dunning-Kruger effect is all about, overestimating what we know, and that comes from the absence of learning, an absence of new knowledge. So, I've partly explained why this happens, where it comes from, and what to do about it, but let's sum it up. The first part of the equation is this effect spawns from a repetitive lifestyle where we never seem to get challenged and realize we didn't fully understand something like we believed we did. Secondly, it leads us down a road of complacency where we believe what we know is the unalterable truth, and when that is challenged and we learned our understanding was only a smaller part of the whole, we back away since we aren't used to learning. We enjoy the feeling of knowing more than that of learning. Finally, what to do about it? You should begin to gain happiness not from the destination, but the journey. Enjoy the learning, not the knowing, since the best minds are always questioning and learning more. The best minds know only that they don't know. We call them the most learned on a subject, not the all-knowing, since no one knows it all. So, go question and learn and be challenged. It is those challenges, those questionings that make us who we are and allow us to learn more and thus live more. So, go live, go question, go learn, and most importantly, have an open mind. There's so much out there. A line that I couldn't really put into the video, I never found a spot for it, is there is so much beauty in realizing this life has so much to learn, and you've only just scratched the surface. I think that's a beautiful line, and I wanted to throw it in there. But also, I would highly recommend reading the article I put into the description. It expands on some of the ideas and topics and relating to a why people stop things once they are truly good. And I want to make a video on that, but I haven't had the time yet or the idea yet. So that's one of my videos I'll be making in the future. So that's it. Peace out. Go live for all this time.